Hey, you guys, Elise Williams here, and wanted to do this training for you because I just feel so blessed being a part of Susan Sly's MIT program. And I have just been frantically taking notes every week. It's a 4-week course, and we just completed week 3 a couple nights ago. And I just felt really moved to start to share some of these nuggets with all of you. And I definitely encourage you to jump on board the next time that Susan offers her MIT program. I believe you have to be a consultant at least to be eligible for the training, but I'm not going to obviously just share everything that she shares in her training, but I did want to pull a few nuggets that I really believed that if you started implementing in your business right away, you could immediately start to see better results. I mean, immediately. So I really wanted to spend the next 30 minutes or so just sharing with you some of the incredible things that we have been learning, and really encourage you to start to really utilize these things. I mean, really take advantage of this millionaire training that we are literally being offered. So one of the first things that she started to share with us in week 1 is the difference between our personal why and our inclusive why. And I think we've all heard that we need our own personal why for our business. And you've probably heard your why needs to make you cry, because it needs to be very deep. It needs to be very significant and personal to you, because this isn't always going to be easy. And there will be days where you feel like quitting. But your personal why is the reason, your list of reasons that you keep coming back, that you don't quit, that you don't give up. And so hopefully you all have established your own personal why. Well, one thing I really had never heard anything about was having an inclusive why. And an inclusive why is pretty obvious based on the word, but it means that you're including people in your personal why. So it's great to share your personal why with people, but it's not going to always resonate, right? That's not always going to necessarily draw people in, because exactly what you want may not be exactly what other people want. But if you have an inclusive why, that can allow people to become a part of something, right? I mean, what we have going on here with team success on both ends of the spectrum, because obviously we have what's going on with the products and we have what's going on with the business. And you can create an inclusive why based around both of those. You know, you want people joining you on your 16-week IsaBody challenge by simply inviting people to join you on your challenge, because people always get better results when they are a part of a group as opposed to trying to do it by themselves. That can become an inclusive why. If you really have developed a passion, like I have a huge passion for helping people to become full-time parents or to become job optional. So your inclusive why can be just a real movement, just like how the START movement started, was you can create a whole movement and a project around wanting to help more people be able to afford to come home and be full-time parents. So those are just a couple of examples of inclusive whys that really allow people to feel like they're becoming a part of something, as opposed to feel like they're just buying something. Does that make sense? People are they're looking to be a part of something. They don't want to be left behind. They don't want to be left out. So the more inclusive your why can become, the more you can draw people to it. So next thing that was pretty eye-opening that I thought would be important for you all to know is here at Isagenix, 87%, almost 90% of people join for the product, and about 13 join for the business. So I'll be honest, oops, there is another S there. You just can't see it. Sorry about that. It's hidden behind the image. Real life, folks, real life. But I know, I typically look for business builders because I am a business builder and I want to work with other people that want to build a business, that want to create freedom in their life financially. But I also know that swimming more upstream is going to be leading with the product, because people are already spending money on weight loss products and fitness products and nutrition products and energy products and things like that. So if you're leading with that, you're going to obviously be able to get your hands on more people. And then I know what I'm already seeing ending up happening is when people start feeling amazing and their people that surround them every day start to notice them feeling amazing and losing weight and feeling great, they naturally start to ask what they're doing. Or if you're the one experiencing it, you naturally want to share with people. It just kind of literally oozes out of you. So I shared this because I know I have people on my team that kind of get frustrated because nobody's joining the business. And so just really be encouraged to know that we have the best products inside or outside network marketing. I've been around products my whole life. I've been a personal fitness trainer for 27 years, and I am so confident that we have the best products, and you should have that same confidence too. So don't be afraid to talk about the product and tell people exactly what they need in order to reach their goal. Next thing, this is critical. This is a process that I never really did before. You know, in all my years of network marketing and as great as a recruiter as I have never been through this process or been taught this process of really pre-qualifying people. And when I did hear people talking about it and using things like a scale of 1 to 10, I was always so turned off because the people that I heard presenting it, it just sounded like such a kind of sleazy used car sales pitch feeling that I never used the verbiage I would always run when I heard on a scale of 1 to 10. But I'm really seeing how powerful this phrase and this line of questioning can be, because we do want to pre-qualify people. This isn't going to be for everybody, and we only have a certain amount of time and energy to invest. And we want to make sure that we are going to invest it where we can get the most return, okay? So there's a couple of different things when it comes to pre-qualifying. And I'm actually not going to spend a whole lot of time on this slide because there is another slide where I will go into it in more detail. But I just really want you to get in your mind that you have to pre-qualify people. And that comes along with posturing, because if you're not confident, you're just going to scurry to get anybody, right? You're just going to want anybody to say yes. And you're going to basically resort to almost begging in order to make that happen. But you know, people like me and Melanie and Susan and Lisa and people that are really making things happen on this team, we only want to work with the willing, right? If I have to convince you to order the products, or I have to convince you to join the business, and I have to chase you down, not that we don't follow up, but if I have to chase you down and kind of, you know, twist your arm to be here, then that's not going to be a really great prospect, right? We want people that are ready, that are willing, that have questions, absolutely, but that are ready to take action once they get those questions answered. So next slide. This is very important, and this will eliminate a lot of frustration, okay? You need to know your numbers. We are in business. This is not a hobby. This is not something we're playing around with. This is a business, and it does involve sales. It does involve marketing. And anyone in that category, they need to know their numbers. Everything that we do in our business should be quantified, because otherwise you're going to feel like you talk to 1 million people, but the reality is it's probably only 10 or 20, and yet you're wondering why nobody is joining, because you don't know your numbers. So this is pretty standard. So you should expect to contact 90 to 100 people. And out of that, about 50 to 60 of them will actually take a look at the information. You'll be able to actually book an appointment, which means they are open. They said yes to taking a look at the information. And out of those 50 or 60, about 20 will actually enroll. Okay? So if you've only talked to 20 people and you're frustrated and you want to quit, or you're saying this doesn't work, you haven't talked to enough people. you need to know your numbers and you need to treat this like a business. So all of this will right here eliminate frustration for you if you really track how many people that you're actually talking to. So this is really important, and this is something that I have implemented on and off in my life, but over the last probably 90 days or so, I have really been consciously and intentionally looking for ways to be grateful. And there's several reasons why this is important, and especially for your business. And number one is it's going to have you focus on all the right stuff, right? If we're only focusing on what's not happening, then that is the energy that we are going to feel, and that is the energy that we are going to give out to people. And people are naturally going to meet your emotional level, right? It's just very natural. It's just kind of how we work as humans. And so just by tapping into gratitude, you're going to automatically focus more on what is good and what is happening as opposed to what isn't happening. And whatever you focus on expands. So if you focus on what you have to be grateful for, you're going to find more things to be grateful for. So not only is this going to affect you emotionally and mentally, but it's also going to affect you physically, because it actually helps you to release a hormone called serotonin, which is just a happy hormone. And you're actually going to feel better, which is going to increase your results. Because just think about it. If you're reaching out to people and you're not in a good place, you're not going to really be able to move people. You're not going to really be able to inspire people or motivate people if you're not coming from a place of gratitude. So I wanted to share with you some of the key questions that we're learning on the training that I think are so powerful. And if you're not spending most of your time, especially initially in the conversation with your prospects, asking questions, you need to. Because that is the only way that we find the information that we need to help them. We need to help them specifically. We want to treat everyone like an individual. We don't just want to, tell everyone how great everything is when we don't even know what they are specifically interested in. Okay. So there's certain questions, and, I don't really believe in, using the same script for everybody, because not everyone is the same. But I do believe in having some key questions in the back of your mind, because you will notice that you typically ask the same questions over and over and over again. And it's just part of the digging process. It's just part of the information seeking process. So we can figure out exactly what your prospects' problems are, so we know exactly what solution to provide. So some key questions that you want to have in your back pocket are, what is it exactly that caught your interest, right? Because if we're all excited about the cleanse and they're interested in packing on muscle and making money, then we're not going to really be able to pique their interest, right? Because we're not meeting them where they are. So we want to know exactly what interested them the most, because that's all we're going to talk about. It's not about us. It is about them. So then also notice some of the language that is being used. This is for very specific reasons. From the information I sent, what did you love most? Or how did you feel when you watched it? Because if you just ask open-ended questions like, what did you think? Or did you like it? Then you're not leading the conversation. You're not posturing and positioning yourself in the conversation. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Another key question is, how long have you been wanting to do that? Because obviously, if we're talking to someone about weight loss, this probably is not their first rodeo. This probably is not their first time wanting to lose weight. So if you ask this question to someone that has a weight loss goal, they may have been wanting to do that for their whole life. And that is a really powerful thing to know, okay? Another key question, how much money have you spent trying to achieve that? This is a great question, because obviously what we're going to share with them will require them spending money. And this allows them to hear themselves say and to realize and remember that, yes, I have probably spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars trying to achieve this. So when I say, hey, I want you to get a 30-day system for $272, they're going to remember, oh, wow, compared to all the other money that I've spent, that's probably a pretty good deal. So that's a great key question to ask. And then also on a scale of 1 to 10. So I've basically heard this used a couple of different ways. So I'm going to share both with you. They're very similar, just a little different play on words. So the way that Susan taught it is she just basically said, and this is during the pre-qualifying, this is before they even really see any information. We want to know where they are. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you about wanting this to happen? A 1 means that, you know, if it happens, it happens. If not, no biggie. Number 10 means I'm absolutely committed to make this happen no matter what. So we want to ask this question before they see information. On a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you about making this happen, about losing weight, about getting fit? Okay. And if they're not at least a 7 or above, they're not ready. They're not willing. Okay. Also, Scott Aaron, who did our team success training call last week, I loved what he had to say. So I'm going to share this with you also. And remember, you don't have to do this word for word. I actually did write it down word for word, but it's what you're communicating, right? 7% of communication is actually verbal. The rest is what you're really communicating. What is it that you're actually saying? What is it that you're actually leading the person to? So the way he said it is, let's say you make a post on Facebook and someone comes to you wanting more information, either through a comment or they send you a private message. And first of all, you want to let them know that you really prefer to discuss this over the phone. Okay, so all of you guys, if you have fears of talking to people on the phone, you need to move beyond that, okay? And I know for me, I like to be on the phone with my teammates so I can be the one answering the questions for people. So I definitely recommend that you use the leverage that we have here on this incredible team. But he starts out saying, okay, you know, I want to speak to you over the phone, but before we do, let me ask you a couple of questions. He is going to pre-qualify whether this person is even worth him getting on the phone with, and you should be doing the same. So first question is, what exactly are you looking to achieve? If we don't know their goals, we don't know where to lead them. And whatever they say, you know, because we know we have something for everyone, awesome, I have something for you. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you, and I love how he says this, about achieving and maintaining this goal? Because we don't want people to believe that they're going to do a 30-day system and that's it, right? Like they're done using Isagenix products. We want people to understand that this is something that you continue to put in your body. You don't stop getting healthy after 30 days. So I love how this is phrased. On a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you about achieving and maintaining this goal? And they're going to tell you. And you know what? If they come back between a 1 through a 6, you need to be okay with saying, well, I appreciate your honesty, but I really can only work with people that are 7 and above. Okay? And say that. You don't have to defend it. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to feel bad about it. And they're going to do one of two things. They're going to say, okay, I can appreciate that. Or they're going to say, you know what? Actually, I'm a 7. Okay? So don't be afraid to ask that question. So then you ask, would it be okay if I sent you some information to look over before our call? So they already know, you've told them twice, that the actual conversation is going to happen over the phone. So would it be okay if I sent you over some information to look at before our call? So we already know what their goals are. So we know what ISA movies we're sending. And they already know that this conversation will resume on the phone. And what Scott recommends is that you don't send over that information until 30 minutes before the call. And this is for two significant reasons. Number one is if you send over the information without scheduling the call, the likelihood of that call happening just seriously diminished. Okay? They may get the information and then you may never find them again. Or they may never actually schedule the call. They may kind of keep putting it off and keep putting it off. Okay? The second reason is because you want the information to still be very fresh in their mind. So they have fresh questions. They have a fresh perspective. They freshly came off of the video. So let them know that you will send over the videos 30 minutes before the call. And then when you do call, the first question you're going to ask is, how did you feel about the information? Because you must understand, we all make decisions based on how we feel. As much as we believe that we're these logical creatures and, you know, we're so much above animals in our thinking and cognitive abilities, we still pretty much make every decision based on how we feel. So that's what we want people to tune into. It's not what do you think. We don't want to know what they think, right? Thinking is what got them there in the first place. We want to know how they feel. Very, very big difference. So this is something that Susan said that I think you should put somewhere that you can see all the time to remind yourself, because it's absolutely true. The climb is tough, but the view is amazing. So just understand, you know, I know we see things all over the internet nowadays about easy money and get paid to do nothing, and you don't ever have to talk to anyone or do anything, and you can become a millionaire. Hopefully you've realized that is a gimmick. It's a marketing ploy. It is not real at all. Just because we have a home-based business does not mean that we are not working, right? I work very hard. Melanie works very hard. Lisa works very hard. Susan works very hard. And so I don't want you to think that you are not going to work hard. We're going to have fun, and we're going to create freedom for ourselves that a job will not allow us to do. But don't think that it's going to be easy. And don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better, as Jim Rohn says. So this is some really, really valuable information when it comes to prospecting and recruiting and closing, okay? So we're talking business here. We're talking about, you know, bringing people on board. And honestly, you can use this posture and this training for whether you're going out there and looking to acquire a customer or an associate. Because for some of you guys, it's still going to require you getting into a peak state. So if you've heard anything from Tony Robbins, he talks a lot about peak state and getting yourself in a peak state. And he has people at his seminars just do all kinds of crazy things. I mean, jump up and down and scream and smack yourself in the face and yell and do all these crazy things, but it gets you in a peak state. Your mind and your body are tied together. So if you do crazy things with your body, then your mind is going to come into the picture, and it's just going to get that same energy going that you created in your body. And this peak state is going to allow you to put out a higher level of energy and therefore attract a higher level of energy. And everyone's just excited and feeling good and wanting to, you know, grow and wanting to change and wanting to, you know, just be in their peak state and physically and financially. And like when you put that energy out, that's the energy that you're going to get back. Okay. So there's a few ways to do this. Number one, your nutrition needs to be on point. If you're tired and you feel crummy, then it's tough to get into a peak state. So again, we have the best products to be putting in our bodies every day to make sure that every day our nutrition is on point. We have energy. We feel good. We believe in these products. We feel responsible to share it with others. So a way to get in a peak state is to make sure that you are using the products, okay? Another example that Susan gave, which I thought was so cute, is if you know anything about her son, he is actually on the autism spectrum, but he's, you know, very active. He does sports. And so one of the things that she taught him, because she does a lot of, you know, mind training with him, is when he's out there playing his sport to really look at his opponents and think, I own you. I own you. And not from a, a place of force or anything like that, but it's coming from a place of power, right? I own you. I know this information. I know it better than you, right? So in that respect, you own that person that you're talking to, okay? And every time you're talking to someone, you want to ask yourself, could you recruit an Elise? Could you recruit a Melanie or a Lisa or a Susan? Because we need energy. I would never get pumped up by someone who's talking like this and he really is just kind of going through the motions, right? Like you literally feel your energy change. So in order to resonate with someone like me, who is a very high energy person, but I'm also someone that you would definitely want on your team, you have to get into a peak state. All right. So very important, leadership is not a position or a title. It is action and example. I have yet to get on a three-way call where I'm kind of leading the three-way call where anyone asks my rank or how much money I'm making, because I talk action and I tell people what I've done and what my team is doing, and they don't need to ask, right? So don't feel like, well, I'm not an executive or I'm not even a consultant, so I can't really be confident when I'm talking to people. No, that's not true. Okay, that is not true. So very, very key, important things to remember. Number one, people need to be led. Okay, so a lot of you guys are, you're doing your prospecting and you're allowing your prospect to lead the conversation. You're being very meek. You're being very shy. You're being very passive. People need to be led. They need to be told what to do. They want to know what is going to happen. So like it's perfect scenario. When someone shows interest, you're going to say, okay, we're going to get on the phone, right? I'm going to send you over some videos. You're going to watch these videos in the next 30 minutes, right? You're leading them. You're telling them what to do. You're telling them what's going to happen. So that is how you will be able to close, is because you are leading them through the entire process. Second thing is you're the expert, okay? Don't be intimidated. You know more about Isagenix than they do. Okay, so whether they're a personal trainer or they know a lot about nutrition or, they've tried a whole bunch of products, don't be intimidated. You know more about Isagenix than they do. And you can also connect them to a higher level expert, right? That's what we're here for. That's what leverage is all about. But even in that initial conversation, always remember, you know more about Isagenix than they do. So you are the expert. Number 3, we talked about this, find out goals. If you don't know their goals, you don't have the power. That's what Susan Sly says. So know their goals, ask their goals. Everyone knows what they are. I've yet to ask someone, what's your physical goal? And they don't know exactly what it is already, right? They know exactly what it is. All right, this is very important. Show you genuinely care. Show you genuinely care. Don't go out there just trying to close a sale, okay? People want to know you care. The whole phrase, people don't care what you know until they know how much you care, is absolutely true. So be that shining light. Be the one that actually listens. Be the one that actually genuinely cares, because there aren't enough people out there like that. And when you become that beacon of light for people, they want to keep coming back to you. Okay? They feel that. They acknowledge that. This is another great one. Use assumptive phrases. So maybe they've looked at the information and we're kind of, talking about the different products and things like that. Use assumptive phrases, meaning that you just assume that they're going to order, that they're going to use it, right? Because of the way the conversation has been going. So an example of assumptive phrases are things like, when you get this product in your body next week, you are just going to have so much more clarity in your thinking. You're going to just wake up more easily, and you're just going to overall feel better. You're not going to quite maybe be able to put your finger on it in the first couple of days. You're just going to realize that you're going to feel better. Okay. Or next week this time when you have your products, you're going to be having that amazing protein shake right after your workout that's going to provide you so much recovery. So your soreness and your ability to kick butt in your next workout is going to be amazing. Okay, just a couple examples there. And then this is so important. And I will be very honest, this is something I was not doing consistently, but I will be now. Take the order. Okay, stop sending people your link and waiting for them to order. A couple reasons. Number one, now you're waiting on people, and I don't know about you, but I can't stand waiting on people. Okay, I don't like to wait for people to do things because they're busy and they're thinking about a million other things and it feels like it takes forever. Okay, and they're probably going to put it off because we all naturally have a tendency to procrastinate, because it's not typically as important to them as it is to us, right? So take the order. The other reason is we want to make sure that they do it right. We want to make sure that they end up in the right place. We want to make sure that they're getting the right flavors, and they, do they want a liquid or a powder? And plus, it's just a great form of service for you to actually take the order with them on the phone. What flavor shake do you want? Do you prefer liquid or powder? You really are able to service your customers and service your associates. So take the order, take the order, take the order. Melanie Militix is amazing at this. She do a 3-way call with her and you will see how she is just incredibly seamless about leading people to taking the order. So last slide here. And one of the things that we're learning with Susan, which now I actually ended up ordering a book, and I am loving it because I've always heard the power of it, but never actually studied it. And that is NLP. And NLP stands for Neuro Linguistics Programming, okay? And it's basically a way of thinking and a way of speaking that allows you to influence yourself and also to influence others. So there are very powerful words and phrases that you can be using during your prospecting and closing that will work magic on the people that you're talking to. Even if you shoot videos, start to use this language, use these phrases, just look for ways to use them because they're very, very influential. So these are phrases such as imagine if, what if, either or, you can keep doing what you're doing, or if not this, then what? So let me just kind of give you an example of each of those, and then we're going to wrap it up. So imagine if you didn't have to drag yourself out of bed every morning and drink a pot of coffee before you woke up. Imagine if you actually woke up feeling energized, feeling alive. Wouldn't that feel amazing? You see how that's different? See how that can it automatically, you start to picture that in your mind, right? You start to visualize and think about how it would feel, the difference between dragging yourself out of bed and actually waking up feeling revived and refreshed. Big difference, right? Here's another one. What if you actually didn't wait until January 1st like you always do? That never works. And what if you actually decided to take control of your health and your weight now, before the holidays? What if you did that? What kind of difference do you think that would create for you? Okay, either or. This one is a little tough love. So if you are confident and you know this person pretty well, you can say something like this. And I'll use the New Year's resolution example again. So either you can wait until January 1st, which you do every year, and we already know that you stick with it for about 4 weeks and then you're back to your old habits, right? Or you can actually make a decision now to go into January 1st already at your goals. And it just gets people to think. It gets people to become aware of something that they were not previously aware of, okay? Another thing. You can keep doing what you're doing, right? You can keep saying that you want to eat better. You can keep saying that you need to rely on willpower. You can keep saying next week, next week, next week. Or you can actually make a decision today to do what you've been saying you're going to do. Okay? And Maybe they say, well, you know, these products aren't for me, or this cleanse isn't for me. Okay, if not this, then what are you going to do? And let them answer. See that pause at the end? I want them to actually answer this question, not even for me. I want them to answer that question for themselves. That's how you help people to become aware of just the robotic way that they make decisions without even thinking about it. And most people are naturally going to gravitate towards what they've already done because that's where their security is. Where we know the only way that things can become better is to do something different. Okay? So that's what I have for you guys. I really hope that this helped you. And I just really wanted to share some of this incredible information and knowledge and wisdom and insight that we're gaining from Susan Sly. And I just really recommend that starting today, right now, you just implement these things. They're not hard, they're not complicated, they're not technical, but these are the little tweaks that you can be making in your business starting today that can make a dramatic difference, and you can start to see massively improved results. So thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.